Hello, welcome to another episode of Drinking with Comics presents Drunk on Energon. My name is Sean,
And I am Mike.
and we've been away, and I think we even promised we were going to come back and do a Drinking with Comics about something that wasn't Energon related uh, first before we came back for Energon Universe, and it just didn't happen. The last month just got away from me a lot.
Yeah, same here.
So we got some catching up to do. The good news is I don't have a lot to say about a couple of these books. So
Yeah, this will be
um,
quick. I think
I
we'll probably just end up doing this once a month instead of every other week.
maybe, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, we could
we'll
do
do
other
more
things because
episodes.
we'll do other
Exactly.
things so we can expand our horizon, and then you guys
Exactly.
could like, follow, and subscribe us as you know.
What's the opposite of that? Like hate, ignore, and destroy us? You know, like I always think about like at work, people sign emails like, like warm regards or best. And I always want to put for mine like patiently awaiting your demise. Like that'd be the perfect for me in my corporate environment. Like, yeah, I just really if I'm sending you an email, I probably want your head on a stick.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
no, be
Before
like
we
dislike, ignore us. Yeah, dislike, ignore us, and be sure to not let the algorithm do what it does. I don't know.
Yeah. So, what are we drinking here, Mike? This is one that you gave me. This is a Chicago brewery, Pipeworks, right? Pipeworks
Oh,
Brewing.
it's Pipeworks. Yes, I gave this to you so long ago, I forgot what it was. Yes, Pipeworks. I've been there once. They have very good beer. I don't know if I've ever had the pineapple guppy before, but it looks like it's a pineapple pale ale. That is a
Yeah,
mouthful.
I gotta say. So, Mike asked me, which one should we drink, and I picked this one because it has been sitting in my garage. Like you were here a couple months ago, and I'm like, we really got to get on these. But also, like, I think it's the one I'm looking forward to the least, but also possibly the most curious
Yes,
about. So
it's been sitting in my fridge. I got two, and it's just like every time I look at it, it's like, oh, I want to try it, but I want to wait for Sean.
I was going to suggest massive political corruption because you gave me a 4 pack of that when I saw you, and dude, I drank
Oh,
three of those motherfuckers in like an hour. That's like the
they're so
best,
good.
dude. That is just the
Um,
best fucking beer.
I feel like we have to save that for a good political episode.
Oh,
You
good
know, like we're
lord.
gonna do a political book. We'll drink massive political corruption. We'll talk about, I don't know, Lex Luthor
Ooh,
becoming president. I don't know.
ooh.
Ooh,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
I might have an idea for that. But
okay.
okay. So you've never had this either, huh?
I don't believe I have. Ooh,
Holy shit, the pine and I will say I love pineapple. I love pineapple juice. I love pale ale. I just don't know that any of those things
that
are going to go
is.
together.
Here. I'm getting that like hoppy, pineapple-y. I think that
It,
would work.
it's
Uh,
low on hops.
okay. Oh, it's definitely hoppy, but not as killer hoppy as what was that last one we did? The Ice Monkey or
Oh
whatever.
God, that beer was fucking awful. I think I had a
Oh,
nightmare about drinking that again.
not well. It's like if the hop, you know how when you have hops, you get a lot of grapefruit out of it.
Yes, that's
But
exactly what I was just thinking.
I'm not getting grapefruit out of this. I'm getting pineapple.
So
I like it. It's not something I would drink normally, but I don't hate it.
okay, so this is pale ale with pineapple and natural pineapple flavor. So that was going to be my question because I think we've talked about this before, but the first grapefruit IPA I had, there was no. I think it's the Sculpin and
Okay.
the Lagunitas. I think that's who makes the Sculpin. But if I'm correct, that one and Goose Island had one that I think is no longer available. And I think the Goose Island didn't even say grapefruit on it. In fact, I know it didn't. It was one of their IPAs. It was not the it was not the 312 IPA. It was a different one, but in a green can. They had, there's a way that you can roast hops that gives off this like citric acid kind of thing that suggests on the palate grapefruit, right?
Okay.
And then other beers started adding grapefruit to that to accentuate that. And it does go well with the hops. So I think this is Pipeworks adding, I feel like it's a very tame amount of pineapple. I don't feel like it's overpowering. When you open it and smell
Mm,
it, you think it's going to be too much, and it's not.
it's faint.
It's
It's a
faint.
good faint. Yeah, it's like for an IPA, you're getting more IPA out of it, but like I said, you're not getting that grapefruit sour. You're getting like a pineapple sour, which is
Yeah.
it's
Well, but
subtle.
also it's
It's
not
like
an
you don't
IPA.
realize it. Well, it's a pale ale. Sorry.
Totally different.
You're really exposing my inexperience in beers.
Yeah, I mean, also a lot of people that just don't like hoppy beer would be like, "Fuck you, Sean. It's totally the same."
Well,
So
yeah, and I'm
if
sure
you don't
like
like hops, you know, but
just to be clear, everyone, my beer expertise goes can open, beer go here.
well,
Good.
I wouldn't consider myself an expert either. I'm just a cunt
Yeah,
that likes to drink, and I like to think about what I drink.
yeah. I like, ooh, that's good, or ooh, that's bad. I better finish that. Get another one.
It's I gotta say it's not bad. I had wondered if I was gonna like take a sip and then be like, Mike, I'm getting a different beer because I can't. So far, that Three Floyd Zombie Ice is it's one of the worst beers I've had in a long
Zombie
time.
ice. That's it.
Like I think I think I had a nightmare where I was like cutting the lawn in like 110-degree heat, and I went into the garage where I had my little mini fridge with my beer, and I went to get a beer, and the it was stocked with that beer with the zombie ice, and I was like, no, no,
That would be great on like a nice hot day.
no,
You,
to
you
do
know,
that.
oh, you're mowing the yard. Gotta take your shirt off, dripping sweat. Crack one of those open, and your mouth just goes. "Ugh."
Yeah, man. I think the guys in Shawshank Redemption, you know, where it's like, sir, if we could have some, some suds, I think nothing makes a man feel like a man working outside in the hot sun and drinking some cold beer or whatever. However, that scene goes where he ends up like negotiating getting the guy's beer while they're on their work release or whatever. I think if they had tasted the zombie ice, they would have been like, put me back in the cell, man. Fuck this.
Yeah,
I love Three Floyds, and I'm sure there's people out there that like that beer, but goddamn. Okay, let's not
yeah.
belabor the point. So let's go in the order that these came out.
Okay.
Um, so that would be first would be Scarlett number two. Oh,
Woo.
I got a different cover.
Yes. Which cover did you get?
I don't know if this is
Oh,
A
it
or
got
B.
cover A, and I
Oh,
got
this
cover
is
B. Yeah,
right
front
on.
and back. Yeah.
Um,
Gotta
I've
go
I've
Storm
learned
Shadow.
now I don't give a shit about this comic. I'm gonna still read it because I don't want to miss out on whatever it's gonna set up, but I literally don't care about this comic at all.
It's not. I don't hate it,
I don't
but
hate
yeah,
it. I
you're
just
right.
don't
It's
care
not
about
the
it.
strong. It is the weakest of the Energon universe stuff. It's not like the other books where you're like, ooh, what's going to happen next? It ties in the Energon universe. It's just Scarlet lamenting over Jinx, which was fun in the first issue, but it's kind of getting old now. Like, hook up already.
Well, also just all the stuff with the Arashikage, and I think this is like I said something to this effect when we did number issue one.
Yes.
I think because of my allegiance to Larry Hama's continuity, especially concerning, like I'm eager to see what Skybound does as far as a fresh take on everything with G.I. Joe and Cobra, except that just seems so like written in stone. I don't want them to recreate it, right? I almost just wish these
Yeah.
characters weren't going to be in the book in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I was the first thing I liked about the everything up to this was not having the ninjas in it. Not having Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow, and just kind of including them in it just made it a little. It's not as exciting as I wanted it to be, I guess. Or I wasn't expecting much from it because it's the ninjas. Um, they're just overplayed. I feel,
I
and that
agree.
might
It's
be
like
the
that.
issue. Yes.
that Wolverine kind of thing where it's just like, okay, they've kind of been done to death. We can lay off for a while. I mean, it's interesting that they're focusing more on Scarlett and Jinx. I don't believe that Scarlett. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't believe it, but like they got to prove to me that Scarlett is such a badass ninja that she can take on. Like, I mean, how many fucking ninjas does she fight at once and beat in
Yeah,
this
I
issue?
think
Like, quite a few.
she's Scarlet. She's a badass super spy.
She
I
ain't,
mean,
dude. She ain't
no,
on a list.
yeah,
She ain't on that level, man. I mean,
I think she
again,
is.
maybe this Scarlet is. They just got to prove that to me. So, I mean, I
Yeah,
guess you could say they're proving it. The proof is in the pages, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely. I feel she is. She's there. I have no problem with her being a badass ninja super spy who's
No,
better at
same.
crossbows than kicking things. What you're finding out, she's is, and she lived with Jinx for who knows how long, and trained with her for who knows how long in
Yeah,
between.
but I mean, to take on that many ninjas at once.
Yeah, I felt it was a little bit like. I feel like ninja goons tend to be just lame, anyways.
I mean,
Um,
that's a good point, right? You know, like I
yeah,
read a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and at least there you're already steeped in the fact that the four brothers are complete badasses, so they can whittle down, 2 dozen Foot Clan ninjas, right? But
yeah,
I do feel like the storytelling of the '80s that made ninjas so popular, like with the hand and the foot, and the Arashikage, whatnot. And GI Joe didn't really do it. Actually, GI Joe, Hama's GI Joe didn't do it at all. It didn't downplay the ninja's prowess. But those other books, like Foot Clan or The Hand, like they're a dime a dozen, and they don't really seem to be
yeah.
that hot as
They just
shit, right?
just they just get their asses kicked like by every freaking person that shows up. Like
Yeah.
bam, ninja's down. Um, ooh, yeah. But I could see her being a badass because she's Scarlet and she kind of is a badass. I don't necessarily disagree with that part. It's just not. I don't know what it is about that's not that interesting. I feel like all the other books is world building,
Yes.
where this one is more or less just building her world. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, we're taking a smaller step, and I'm not feeling it as
Yeah.
much. I don't hate it. Like I said, I don't hate it. This is still kind of interesting little corner of their world. Um, but yeah, she kills like 3, 4 of them.
5, 6.
And
I
then,
mean, there's a scene where there's one dead in front of her and 4 coming into the room, and she walks out of that room. So she killed at least 5 in quick succession.
oh, and so she took a beating in the last issue, right?
Yes.
With a
Well, no,
razor blade
Storm
in her
Shadow.
gut.
Yeah. Okay. So the best part of this. So in the last issue, it ends with Storm Shadow knocking her out. But the best part
Yes.
of this issue was where she had that razor blade in her stomach, and that was fucking gross. Like I actually really liked that scene. It was, ugh,
And I
ugh.
like that she had a pick in her mouth, and you could see like they they cut it out of her lip or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, that was just a distraction," which was good. I
Yeah.
enjoyed which is once again proving that she is a badass. She's a super spy. Uh, but yeah, I don't feel like maybe when we get to this endless wave, the secret weapon, the endless wave, whatever that is, it might feel like it's tying more back into other stuff. But so far, it's
Yeah.
just reading like a normal girl joins Ninja Clan 80s movie that it's just not
Yeah.
that exciting.
That's a good assessment.
Yeah.
Uh,
Any idea what an endless wave is?
so I was just going to say, I'm actually wondering if this is going to be because they mentioned, so the Hard Master mentions that there's like an ancient Arashikage weapon they want her to go retrieve, right? These Yakuza have stolen. And I'm wondering, since the Transformers had been crashed on Earth in the Ark for, millennia, right? I
Yeah.
wonder if they're going to tie this in somehow with like some aspect of the Ark or something broke off, fell in their neck of the woods, and they had used it like in some ancient weapon or something, and so it's going to tie in that way. I have a feeling we might see something like that.
It's like one of their guns fell off and they found it and they're using it, or like a sword.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like, I hope so. That's what kind of keeps me going on this. Like, what is
Yeah.
the secret weapon? I still think there's two. One of them is going to be Snake
Snake
Eyes,
Eyes. Yeah, I think you're
but
100% correct.
I think the Endless Wave isn't Snake Eyes. I think it's something else. And yeah, I'm
Yeah,
hoping it's something Energon Transformer related, and not, or even Cobra Law related. Just something that's gives it something that feels like it's part of the bigger universe, as opposed to little slice of life that we're getting from Scarlett.
it, it is interesting in hearing you say that right now. I am realizing that definitely the thing about the Joe books, those first two series and now Destro, they're all about interconnected world building and stuff. So the fact that this one
Yes.
isn't is why it seems the weakest. I don't think it's the weakest. I just think it's not the one that's doing that. And at some point, we will have built the world and we will be doing more of this kind of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
but it feels premature, I think is the thing. It's like, no, I want to know so much shit that I don't want to just focus on Jinx and Scarlet having an apartment. Like, I don't care, right?
Which I like, that stuff's kind of fun for me a little bit. Like, oh, okay, they're, they have a friendship, blah blah blah. But it is like, it is going a little too long for 2 issues, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, I like it. It's just not like, I think the inner dialogue of her just constantly referring to like trying to get Jinx is just
Yeah.
kind of wearing a little thin on me. Um, Unless they are in a relationship, which then I understand.
Yeah.
Which
So
I'm
let
pretty sure they are.
let's talk about some other people that are in a relationship, a bit of a menage a trois, as it were, and that would be Chrome Dome and the fucking Crimson Twins, man. These guys.
What cover did you
I
go for?
I
Yes,
love this fucking issue.
zombie
I loved
bats.
fucking loved this. This out of all four books, this was of the last 4 weeks, this was the one that just made everything sing for me. I just
Yes,
loved it.
is definitely the more corporate. I like the, yeah, it's like a corporate war. Like McDonald's going after Halliburton.
Now it
So,
really. Oh, go ahead.
but yeah, so I was gonna say, is like, who do you think attacked them then? Who attacked Destro?
Oh, Cobra Commander.
100%. Okay, yeah.
I mean, he might have used Major Blood to do it, but it's Cobra Commander 100%. This is how he's moving all these pieces together so he can control them all.
Yes, that's what I realized too. Yeah, it's definitely that. Because yeah, is this like they say constantly in the thing? One has the weapons, the other has the manpower, all things he needs right now. And
Yeah.
this is definitely filling that gap that I had a complaint about with the end of Cobra Commander.
Yes.
How does he get all this stuff?
This is
So this
how.
this is this is yeah, this is hopefully how, yeah.
Uh,
If it turns out to be Zartan, I'm gonna be really pissed.
I mean, so just the fact that like I love the whole course of this. Like whenever I see destroyed bats get up and start fighting, I'm sold. Right? Like I love that.
Oh
We've
yeah.
we've talked about that before. They bring out the fucking assault systems pod, which is being pulled by something that looks a lot like what do you
Well, it's a
call it?
vamp.
Clutch the vamp,
It's a
except of
vamp,
course it's
yes.
going to be spray painted black and called the Stinger eventually, right? But
Well, yeah, but I
when
think the idea is like the vamp is just the standard Jeep that
well, these guys probably designed the vamp because they are the
yeah,
military industrial complex, right?
yeah, and
So
they sold it to GI Joe and they still use it for themselves. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I did like that. I like that you had the little despoilers that Destro's guys are flying in.
And then I love the fact that they meet and they basically agree to like fold the companies in to each other peacefully so that when they eventually, when one of them, they both like, we're going to kill you. Well, I'm going to kill
Yeah,
you.
don't.
Okay, well, let's put our companies together. So when that happens, whoever wins will just inherit it all. Like,
I
that's
don't
such
think
a
they. I think the
weird.
idea. I didn't get that from it as much as like whoever wins. You're gonna kill me. That's fine. Just leave my company alone. And if you beat me, take my company.
I feel
It's
either
like
way, I feel like that's
it's
fascinating.
it's the honor among businessmen. It's the businessman honor.
Yeah. And that goes back to they're talking about the payolis, and it says they believe that war is an unavoidable part of doing business.
Yeah.
So cherry pick the most ambitious and gifted individuals they can find in every walk of life. They find ruthless businessmen and train them to be ruthless mercenaries, and they find ruthless soldiers and train them to be ruthless businessmen. That's fucked up. That's
So I do.
really interesting.
I love that, but I do have one complaint.
Yes.
Is the Crimson Guard uniform still has a snake element to it when it shouldn't? If you look at the
Eh,
helmet, it has like a little bit of a cobra symbol in it, and I feel like that's like they're not part of Cobra yet. There shouldn't be a snake element to the Crimson Guard uniform. But that was like the like me being super nerdy.
I had never ever, I'm not contesting you, I'm just saying I had never looked at that and thought of a snake ever.
Yeah, if you look at it when he's falling
I
down, you can
see
see it
it.
a little bit more. Yeah, you see it. Yeah, it was one of those things. Like I looked at that, I was like, well, yeah, there's a snake element to this. This shouldn't
Yeah, I
have
see
that.
it. Yeah, it's the way that, yeah, those fans on the side of the, like the mouthpiece. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
it's
saw
a
that
snake.
before.
Yeah, I never noticed it really before either until that particular picture there made me go like, oh wow, there's a snake element to this. Should have probably changed that.
This really reminds me, again, like a lot of, I feel like they're drawing a lot from the IDW comic.
Okay, that run of Cobra we love dearly.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
that. It's very, there's like this corporate, like, corporate, it's just a very corporate structure. And I don't know, I think it's interesting. Okay, so let me ask you this. You think Destro's playing with a full deck?
I don't know. He's a little eccentric.
There's two pictures here, and I'll edit them in right here. There's two pictures here that make me think that well, other than the fact that he goes to this shrine where his dead ancestors are and talks to them, right? Um, he looks like mad as a hatter in two
Oh,
pictures on
like
this
this?
page.
Where he's like doing this?
That, and then if
Ah!
you go to the page above it, right, or the page before it in that spread, the top three panels, the one all the way to the right, where it's just half of his face, but look at his fucking eyes
Yeah.
and his smile. He looks nuts, man. He looks fucking just nuts.
Well, he's daring them to shoot him so he can shoot him with nuclear missiles.
Yeah.
the the metal face doing this though. That's so weird.
Yeah, it is.
Like
It's
I
very
keep looking,
weird.
it's like, how is he doing that? That is some. You could just sell that technology in your mask and you could retire for the
Yeah.
rest of your life.
Yeah, how about it? I'd buy one. Uh Chameleon is not a character I'm familiar with.
So I did a little research on those guys. Overkill was a later character that showed up in the late 80s, early 90s, came with like a sound pack, I want to say, something like push the big box on his back and goes rat tat 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 tat. He's kind of like a cyborg looking dude, so I'm very curious
Okay.
to see what he looks like in here. Chameleon, when I looked up instantly, apparently in the comic books was dressed as was Baroness, was someone posing as Baroness for years.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't do much research on it, but at some point in time, GI Joe sent Chameleon in, and that's their master of disguise, and she poses as Baroness for a while, which I thought that was kind of interesting that it was Baroness. Is this the Baroness relationship he gets into when she's off being a Joe? Because you gotta remember she's in Joe now. we have a promo poster at the store where it's like a two-side poster. One side's got the cast of Scarlett, the other side had the cast of Destro, which just had Destro, Chameleon, who at the time I didn't know who that was. Now I know, and the Zaymon and Somax.
Okay.
So that's I think this is going to be a major character because it's in the thing. Where the flip side was Scarlet, Snow Job, Storm Shadow,
And
and
Jinx.
Jinx. Yeah. So all the major characters. So I'm assuming Chameleon obviously has a bigger role hunting down and finding Destro's little secret place that no one knows. No one knows.
We also don't know if Chameleon is working for the twins
Or Cobra
or
Commander.
Cobra Commander or what. So
Or
it'll
G.I.
be
Joe.
it'll be interesting to see.
The scrap heap of empires. Or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
that was. If that does not come back.
It's a
Like
great
if the
industrial band from
Transformers.
1993.
Yeah. Scrap heap of empires. If they do not come, that place does not come back where the Transformers are hanging out there eventually. I'm gonna be very sad because that just sounded really neat. It's like an
Yeah.
undisclosed location full of junk. What'd you go with?
A.
Cover
I
A.
like this cover.
I like cover A too, but I grabbed cover B because I thought it'd be the least grab. Although I will say, cover C with the
Oh
Bruticus on
yeah.
there. It's freaking brutal, man. That
Oh,
is a nice one. That
dude,
was a
I
one
didn't.
in
Fuck,
10.
I would have grabbed that in a second. Damn it.
It was a
Wow.
1 in 10, so it was probably a little more expensive.
Wow. Um, what'd you think?
Transformers.
What'd you think of this?
So initially when I don't know if you remember, I kind of rolled my eyes to Beachcomber, but now I get why Beachcomber's in it.
Yes.
Although I still do not understand why Beachcomber is involved. Like, why did he help this random kid he's never met before in the hospital? I don't know. No one sent him there. He left the Autobots alone a long time ago. He's just there helping. But I did like the fact that he just sat on the moon for what, a million years
Yeah.
till the
What? Yeah, I
60s
thought that was
and hitched
cool.
a ride to Earth and then became a beatnik hippie. But what I really dig about it was, which I realized is he is the complete opposite of what Shockwave is doing, where he is enjoying what Earth is, and Shockwave is sucking it up and turning to Lisa Slurry with it.
Very good point because they both have moments like you get a mirroring moment for both characters, right? Beachcomber's
Yes.
obviously like enamored with all the wildlife, right? He's holding the squid and running around, blah blah blah. And then you have this awesome moment with Shockwave where he stops Soundwave and they're looking at this whale. He's like, "Have you ever seen something so magnificent?" And then you flip the page and
Yeah.
they basically just use it to, they just put it in the blender to make Energon.
Oh yeah. It's that I don't know if you've ever seen an episode of The Simpsons where uh Lisa Simpson convinces Monty Burns to become a environmentalist. So he opens up
No.
this like recycle factory using the 6-pack holders to make a great net. So he's trying to build back his money, and he basically uses the 6-pack holders to drench the ocean and recycle everything into the ocean, like all the animals, into like a profit machine, basically.
Oh
It
my
made me think of
God.
that. Like it was like, yeah, it was called like he was selling like it was like Lisa Surly, whatever. And yeah, it was his way of making his money back, just using the environment, abusing the environment in just a horrific way. And it's like, oh yeah, look, that's how Shockwave thinks, like Monty Burns.
Yeah.
So this month, instead of picturing him voiced by computeristic Randy Macho Man Savage, I'm picturing voiced by computeristic Monty Burns.
There you go.
Yes, excellent.
He
There it
is
is.
kind of a
Yes,
Monty
yes.
Burns-ish character. Uh, What'd you think about the revelation that you were correct? It was Ultra Magnus.
I shocked? How could it be? I was a little let down. I was really hoping I was wrong on that. There was going to be something cooler.
I mean, it's pretty cool. It's still pretty cool. It's
Yeah, it is. It went on too long. I'm glad we found out now. If that went on another issue, I would have been really sad. Although
um
the thing I did like after review was like Wheeljack going like, "Oh man, we got to get Ratchet to fix you up." It's like, "Oh nope, Ratchet's dead." Wheeljack either I don't know if he was sad that Ratchet was dead or mad that he had to do all the work now.
I think it was sad. That's how I took it.
I just need a moment. I got to do everything now.
I really liked the Ultra Magnus reveal. Dude, I'll take any two panels of the fucking Combaticons. I'm realizing I am a huge Combaticon fan. They were probably my favorites of the combiners. I just loved the Combaticons. Absolutely loved them.
I looked at everything. I remember watching as a kid. Remember he Starscream Poodle on a beach, and
Yep.
then he had all the 4 vehicles, and then he upgraded
It's like
them.
all leftover World War II debris, right?
Yeah, but for some sort of reason, the biplane turned into the World War II like Spitfire plane turned into a space shuttle, which I thought was made no sense to me at all.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, but I like that. You know,
I really like that we're seeing this wide breadth of like ideologies even within the factions, right? So that's not so different for Autobots because there's always kind of traditionally been Autobots that have varying degrees of altruism or agenda or whatever. But I love this thing with Thundercracker where he's basically like, dude, they're prisoners of war. What is Shockwave doing torturing
yeah,
them?
exactly. I like the what are they? The fear that the Autobots are doing something to his buddy Skywarp when we know, although they did kind of hook him up to Teletran One, but you know, to us the Autobots aren't that type of villain. You know, they're not torturing their bad guy or their enemy like Shockwave is.
Well, and I just think it speaks to a little bit more believability as far as like when like in the parlance of the cartoon, the Decepticons are just fucking all bad, right?
Yeah,
Here we're getting varying degrees of that, like, and I think that makes sense because bad guys often it's it's not just black and white, like, oh, you're evil, right? It's like, no, there's
yeah.
a shade of gray. So I really like that they're kind of building that out. And I liked Soundwave basically being saying, you're a soldier in the Decepticon army. Your life is mine. And
Yeah.
also it's funny, he's doing this in it's a very human response because a few pages before he's like, I have to fix my Ravage, and Shockwave is like, don't waste your fucking time with that junk, you'll build a new one. And
Yeah.
then same situation repeats where Thundercracker's like, we got to save my brother Skywarp, and he's like, forget about that, you're my soldier, right? So it's almost like he's turning around and doing the same thing that has been done to him.
Oh, good catch. And and back to like Beachcomber, it did kind of crack me up that he used the line, "Oh, have you heard of him? Oh, I've every Autobot has heard of Shockwave. Cold, calculating, and deadly strategist. He
Right
likes
off the
taking."
file card, right?
I know.
Yep.
If that isn't word for word, it was meant to be as close as possible.
Yeah, it was definitely meant to be as close as no doubt. Um, I will say this issue felt really fucking short to me.
I feel like every issue feels short because I feel like there's way too many characters in this book going on. That
You've said that before, and I've not
yeah.
noticed it, but this time, both times I read this, both when it came out and then just earlier today,
Well, I mean, you're getting the beats, which is fine.
it's jam packed for sure. And dude,
Yeah.
I love the color palette in this fucking book. I mean, Jorge Corona. is killing it. But Mike fucking Spicer, dude, somebody buy that guy like a case of beer because fuck, the colors in this book are just. I just want to stare at it. It like oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, that picture of the whale is just pretty as hell.
Yeah,
It's like I see. And then the next page, ugh.
yeah.
And the
Oh,
zapping of Cybertron into the Earth's orbit.
dude, that
That that
end
that spread page is like amazing.
the spread page, and I like the way you see the American flag on the moon in the foreground, but then you flip and you get that the bottom of the last page, it's like two-thirds of the page is Shockwave with Cybertron behind him. Oh, it just looks let the harvest begin, which is an obvious nod to the movie, Let the Slaughter Begin, right? When the
Yeah,
Decepticons storm the Ark, but goddamn. It felt short, but I mean, I think maybe that's just
it definitely feels like its own arc, which I like too. Like it's
yes,
like Shockwave's a bad guy in this one, or Starscream was a bad guy in the first one. We're
yeah,
getting
good
to know
point.
him very well. Um, Characters are doing different things. This, Cybertron's now in Earth. Everyone on the planet knows that Transformers exist now, or better, because there's a goddamn fucking. Oh, we got to the other Transformers book. Oh, look, we got matching.
You hit the fucking nail on the head, man, because now it's not just Springer. Like I feel like they're really leaning on the Transformers, and I just,
It's
man,
funny from like just the little shop that I work here in Illinois. The fact that like this past week I have sold 4 copies of Transformers #1. And
really,
none of those people, yeah, like some people bought the trade, but there's like a third print or fourth print or something like that, and I've sold 4 of them. They've been out for a while. It's just new people coming into this book because they've been hearing how good it is, which is awesome.
yeah,
A book that came out 10 months ago is still picking up readers,
yeah,
which amazes me. But at the same time, like, I look at them like, are you reading Void Rivals or the G.I. Joe books? And they're like, no.
really,
Yeah, I met someone who only buys the Void Rivals because he didn't like Robert Kirkman, which, I'm not going to question whether or not you like the guy or not. I get it. If he's not your cup of jam, he's not your cup of jam. But I asked him why, and he was like, I didn't like how he outed so and so as the actor as Sentry in Marvel. I'm like, what are you talking about?
what?
Like, so there was an interview with Robert Kirkman a year ago. And he flat out said that the Sentry is going to be in the new Thunderbolts movie. And he said the guy who was playing, I can't remember the actor's name, so excuse me, but he was on Walking Dead. And God, for life of me, I can't remember who was in Walking Dead, but Negan killed him.
Oh, Glenn. So
Glenn. There you
it's the
go.
guy that does the voice
The actor
for
plays Glenn,
Invincible.
Invincible. And
I can't
he
think of his
said in an
name.
interview, and I saw it, and he said in an interview that he was going to be Sentry, that Marvel casted him as Sentry. And then, like, at some point, he was like, oop, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And he kind of was like, well, I don't care because I don't work for Marvel. And this guy, this customer, who, if he's watching, hey, thanks for watching. I'm telling your story on TV. But if you, um, but the reason why he didn't like him was because he didn't like how he outed that actor and got him in trouble for Marvel, probably, where it wasn't anything about his writing thing. So he only reads the ones with the Transformers and it won't bother with the rest of the series because he doesn't like Robert Kirkman. And I was like,
Okay.
that's silly. You're going to put behind a lot of these books regardless because it ties in heavily to Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we all gotta
We
put
all
a
got our
flag
little,
somewhere.
yeah. And once
Uh,
again, I'm not knocking his reasons. I mean, you have a
no, no,
reason.
it's
It's just I find it weird that like you and me are all in this book thick and thin. You're like, we're like, wow, Scarlett's bad. We got 3 more issues to go. We're still buying it, you know.
Yeah, right.
Because it's part of the bigger picture. It's just funny how, like, to me, like, other people be like, yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. It's like, it's part of a bigger picture. Read it.
Well, and also I feel like Void Rivals now fulfills a fundamental Transformer like function or appetite that I have from the movie and the cartoon and the old Simon Furman comics, where all of the shit in the regular Transformers book is on Earth, right?
Yes.
Dude, we go to motherfucking Char in this issue of
I knew
Void
you'd be
Rivals.
excited about that.
Holy shit, dude. I don't even know who this guy that Scuzzoid or whatever his name is talking to. I'm assuming he's a character we've seen in the cartoon or somewhere before.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
wonder if he is. Hold on. What was his name?
Bosch.
Bosch.
Oh,
I
this is
wonder if
that
he's with.
cop from the Amazon show. No, that was a terrible joke. That was a terrible joke.
I thought
Um,
Bosch was the bounty hunter from Star Wars.
oh, boom, lay in disguise, Bosch. Good call, man.
Damn.
Good call. Um, but and and also, so you had said, maybe they need to put some Transformers in here regularly to get sales up, right?
Yeah.
And so Springer's been in this like 3 issues now, I think. But now we've also got like we're cutting away back to Scuzzoid on Char, and then we're cutting the fucking Quintessons on Quintessa. Then we're cutting the fucking Hot Rod. I mean,
Yeah. Looking
this
for
is
Springer, I'm assuming.
and so that was always the thing about the post animated movie cartoon seasons that I liked was it was in space in the future, and you got this very Jack Kirby esque, like there were different planets and different races, and they interacted with it, and that's what this book is. It's just it's more fixated from the point of view of some of those other races, right?
Yeah.
But I just I fucking love this book.
Yeah, it's good. It's solid. I like it. Um, I do like that we're getting more of a, like you said, space Transformers thing. I think my favorite scene is where like Springer kicks that tank, and then
Yes.
and then the guy gets his own power suit, kicks the tank, still can't do damage like Springer does. It's like, darn it, you're better than me.
Doesn't he say like you kicked the tank? That's awesome. Or yeah, you
Yeah.
kicked the tank, rad.
And then he kicks the tank, like clank. Ooh, crap.
You win. Now,
Yeah.
dude, I just God, I fucking love I just love this book. And I don't need it to have Transformers every issue, but if they're gonna do it like this, like that's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, it clearly deals with quintessons and all that stuff, so it should. I feel like, the Springer and Hot Rod, it's nice seeing them in it, at least. Maybe Cup show up eventually.
Yeah, he'd be
Those
another
those
one.
those
Yeah.
more space guys, the more old futuristic dudes. Um, or Cosmo, he's hanging out in space somewhere.
Is that the
Who
little
knows?
one that was like
Little
a
little fly UFO guy.
yeah, but he was like first, wasn't he generation one?
Yeah, but I mean, he still counts. He can
Yeah.
still be a part of it.
Yeah, he could.
He's in
Actually, that
space
would be
all the
cool.
time. Yeah.
That would be cool because we've got RC and Magnus now on Earth, right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of more like the later generations that we associate with the futuristic and the space shit. So I think it'd be cool to do something like that and have Cosmos in space. God,
I just wish there was another Transformers book. I feel
I do
like there
too.
needs to be two. There's too
Well, there
much, like,
kind
the
of
way
is. I mean,
it is, but
kind
it
of
isn't. Where it should
one and a
actually
half.
just have an official. At least I hope Megatron just gets his own miniseries.
That would be cool.
Yeah, if they're gonna do that, like, go that route. Maybe do a miniseries of some more of the characters so they can flesh those out a little bit more.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just it needs more.
it needs more.
and
But I mean,
and it's got the sales to back it up too. I think it can sales wise, it can definitely handle more titles for that because they would do better than the GI Joe and the Void Rivals.
It
'Cause
is
clearly
interesting
people
that
would
they
want the one.
chose to take GI Joe and give it, these like 2 books a month miniseries, and then Transformers has really just been like the one.
Yeah,
When
it
really
is.
Transformers is probably the cash crop, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely doing like because every week I like, are you reading GI Joe? And they're like, there's someone that's like, no, I haven't. Should I? I'm like, yeah, you should. It's good.
I wonder if it's also maybe because it's not a GI Joe book. You know what I mean? Like maybe that it's throwing
I
people off.
don't
Although,
know. I know the
I,
couple people were kind of like, I don't like Duke, and I was like, you'll like him. I don't either. This is why you should read it.
yeah, exactly.
And there is heavy Transformer influence in them, so they
Yeah,
should cross over. And you don't if you're not reading them, you don't know what you're missing because
yeah,
well,
exactly.
you're listening to us. We're telling you what you're missing,
Well,
but
watch
yeah,
when the regular whatever's going to happen where there's like a regular series like a year or two down the road. I'll bet you the trades for a lot of this stuff, the Cobra Commander, the Duke, the Scarlet, I'll bet it'll like the sales will spike.
yeah, I think they will. As the series goes on, people realize that there's a tie in here and a tie in there. We'll see more of that, but like I feel like much like Walking Dead and Invincible, and comparing this to other Kirkman's books, is they still sell trade wise, and
Right.
these are going to sell trade wise in the future.
This is Drinking with Comics, Drunk on Energon. My name is
Oh,
Sean,
drunk. I am Mike.
and we'll be back soon.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sean. Join me and my friends every week for the Horror Vision, where we talk about horror movies.